No? Good morning. I'm Bailey. It's a beautiful morning at Nova Motorcycles. Today we have an update on the 1975 Kawasaki Z1. Last time you guys saw this bike, the cylinders were still seized on the pistons, and we were spending time heating them and using penetrant to try and loosen them up. And what was weird about it was it wasn't exactly the pistons were seized to the insides of the sleeves like they usually will be, but what's not super typical was that the sleeves were slipping in and out of the cylinders themselves. We don't see that all the time, so it was kind of tricky to get off. We ended up having to kind of tuck it away for a sec to focus on other things around the shop, such as the nature of things around here. But now that things are slowing down a little bit for the season, we were able to get it back on the bench and revisit this project. What we ended up doing was shaving off, I wish I had one of the other sleeves. Two of the sleeves came out, and that was fine. The two inner ones were super stuck on the piston. So basically what we ended up doing was taking a cutoff wheel and cutting off the lip, because there's like a little shoulder that seats in here. So once we did that, we were able to basically lift up the cylinder, the jugs off the steel sleeves themselves. And then after that, the pistons were still, basically sitting on the motor like this, and we took the cutoff wheel and slit them just enough to, break the seizure. So yeah, a little messy, but sometimes you got to get creative with stuff like this. It just goes to show that, with enough time and, perseverance, anything is possible. So this is a cool project. We have a couple decisions to make going forward with something like this. It's obviously a very extensive. If it was to be a full restoration, it would be, a pretty big job. This one, I think so far, we're just going to try and get it running and riding safely, and then maybe down the line we'll do more cosmetic stuff. But so moving forward, we have to make a decision on what we're going to do here. There are companies that will re-sleeve these for us and machine out the bore, and we might oversize the pistons and everything, but that's pretty pricey. So our other option is to find a used top end, because we also need, the head is okay, but we do need valves, because what happened originally was this guy, he lost his cam chain tensioner and threw all of his valves into his pistons. So, regardless, he needs a pretty extensive top end overhaul. So we're going to need to be sourcing parts. So we're probably going to be looking for a set of jugs that we can remachine instead of re-sleeving this one. And then motor-wise, the bottom end should be pretty sound. We're not planning on getting into that at this point. So other than motor work, the carbs are a mess. So those will need to be overhauled. And then chassis stuff, these stanchions are no good, unfortunately. Those will never seal up. The wheels themselves, they can be cleaned up. We are slightly concerned about some of the rust on the rear wheel spokes. It's pretty extensive. It might be something that he rides on for a little while, and then can decide to rebuild his wheels at some point. New brake shoes. This is pretty typical. The shoes themselves delaminate from the drum, which is super fun, right? So yeah, other than that, pretty simple stuff. Electrical overhauling. Look at this. This is the old rectifier. I don't know. It's always cool to see. So yeah, updated electronics and stuff like that. Rebuilding the brakes. I don't know. Probably not at this point. These are pretty crusty, but we'll clean them up. We can always throw new points at it. Electronic ignition is always an option down the line, but just to get it running and riding, you can do a lot with points. So all in a day's work. I think that's all I really got for today. Yeah. There you go. Like and subscribe. And follow along. We're going to keep posting about this, and we'll post a link in the caption or whatever to our previous videos if you want to follow along and check out what we've done so far. Okay, thanks.